In my last video, I explored Encanto's biggest question of whether or not Mirabel actually received a gift in the film. Complete with grieving grandfather candles, butterfly reincarnation, graphic on-screen deaths of houses, and Bruno's incredible spackling capabilities. Seriously, I know it's taboo to talk about this guy, but his home improvement skills need to be noticed more. But today we're gonna have a little fun. Because instead of painstakingly piecing together bits of canon to try and make a feasible point, we're just gonna say screw canon altogether and make up something ourselves. Yup, we're heading into straight up AU territory, and crafting our own scenario of what would happen if Mirabel received a proper gift just like the rest of her family. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not making this video to show hatred for the film's story or anything. Like, meh, the film should have happened this way, I hate this and I hate that, yeah. Absolutely not. I love the way the film turned out, and the fact that Mirabel didn't get a conventional gift really helped to emphasize the traits that make her so memorable. The strengths of her character lie not in superhuman abilities, but in skills like communication and kindness and pure dedication to her loved ones. It's her brave heart and boundless determination that helped to stitch up the broken family in the first place. In my eyes, the movie would not have been as interesting if the house just went and gave her a gift just like everyone else. But honestly, the premise of Encanto is so creative and offers so much potential for what-if scenarios that I just couldn't help myself. I just had to draw out a blueprint for what Mirabel's potential powers could have been, and what kind of room would come with it. I think I came up with some pretty interesting ideas, but I'll let you be the judge of that. So sit back and relax as I share my AU with all of you. And as always, if you have any ideas for what Mirabel's gift or room could have been, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Alright, let's get to work. First things first, let's compile some of Mirabel's notable traits that we can base everything on. Well, we know she's very optimistic and perky despite always being ostracized for being different, meaning she can keep a good attitude even in the face of constant negativity. We also know she's very extroverted, probably because her lack of gift means less pressure from Abuela and more free time to socialize. We know she's very determined and persistent in the face of hardship. We know she's extremely dedicated to those she loves, to the point of risking life and limb just to fix their internal issues. Her kindness and compassion encourages others to let out sides of themselves that they've been concealing for a long time. Her big round glasses, curly hair, and freckles make her certifiably adorable. And most notable of all, she's a complete and total nitwit. That's not an insult, by the way. That just means she's very knowledgeable about knitting.
See?
Yeah, while it's never directly addressed in the movie, Mirabel clearly has a knack for DIY crafts. As we can see by the sewing machine she keeps in the nursery, the plush tiger she made for Antonio's gift ceremony, complete with yarn-wrapped gift box, and certain accents on many of the clothes she wears. Heck, it's likely that she made this little mochila bag completely from scratch. By the way, a mochila bag is a Colombian artisan bag made by the Arhuaco people of the Sierra Nevada. Just another cool piece of Colombian culture that they squeezed into the film. Anyway, with all that being said, what kind of gift would be ideal for our kind, considerate craft master? Well, let's just say I took her knack for mending people's emotional wounds to a whole new extreme. Let me set the scene for you. Someone in town comes over to Mirabel with something troubling on their mind. Like maybe someone passed away, or they have some kind of long-standing trauma to deal with, or something like that. So Mirabel tells them to come inside, and she sits down with them, therapist style. She reaches behind her ear and pulls out a glowing sewing needle. She asks the person she's with to relax, she gently dips the needle into the person's mind without pain because magic, and she pulls out a long glowing thread. She then asks them to start at the beginning, give her all the events, past and present, that led up to this moment. And as the person explains, Mirabel's fingers start moving quick as light, as if every word they say is another stitch on this special project of hers. And once they finish the story, Mirabel reveals that the thing she had been working on is a special quilt, with each patch containing an event that her patient brought up during their conversation. Good and bad, positive and negative. She then gives her 2 cents on what the person said and how she thinks they should go about fixing it, and finishes things off by wrapping the quilt around them. And as soon as it touches their body, it's as if the emotional and mental burdens slowly start to be lifted away. Like a cozy bonfire has been lit within them, and an unexplainable warmth is spreading throughout their mind, heart, and soul. It doesn't completely remove their pain, but it's clear that relief has certainly begun. She tells them to wrap themselves in this quilt every so often, and they leave the house to start the healing process. So yeah, I think this kind of gift works perfectly for her for multiple reasons. First of all, the obvious. Combining her love of crafting with her excellent people skills, essentially making her a quick-fingered quilt knitting therapist for anyone in need, just makes so much sense. And the idea of her gift producing the needle and the patient providing the thread is kind of like her leading them through this rough spot in their life, just like she did with her many family members in the film. Second, it's not a gift that provides an instant solution to the problem. It's not like, oh, your dog died? Okay, let me just knit a quilt in 2 seconds, wrap it around you, bam, you're over it now, bye! No, this gift demands that Mirabel and her patient both participate to get something out of it, while at the same time teaching the patient lessons about how to cope with tragedy on their own. I mean, what are the 2 main ways to deal with tragedy? Venting and time, right? Well, Mirabel's special quilts can't be stitched until the person explains their problems right to her, teaching them the importance of emotionally venting to others when they're upset. And when the quilt is finished, it doesn't instantly heal the person. It does, however, give the person soothing relief from their problems whenever they put it on. Like they're wearing a weighted blanket for their heart and mind, if that makes any sense. It slowly eases the pain day after day, which reflects how time truly heals all. A classic life lesson with a magical twist. Sounds pretty fitting, right? Third, it would be a unique parallel to her mother Julieta's gift. Julieta can obviously heal people physically with their superfoods, like broken leg, cured, measles, cured, stub toe, cured, ham, cured. So the idea that her daughter could help mend the deeper wounds that a simple panada para con queso can't fix would make complete sense. Also, could you just imagine what could happen if you combine both of their gifts together? Like if you ate a hot sandwich from Julieta while wrapped in a blanket from Mirabel? That's gotta feel like pure euphoria. Like every part of you, body, heart, and mind just starts feeling so much better. Ah, dang it, the more I think about this, the more I realize how hungry, cold, and powerless I am. Why can't magic just be a thing already? Disney, where magic comes alive. And then you look around at reality and realize it'll never be as good. So with a gift like that, what kind of room would Casita give Mirabel to complement it? Well, here's what I got. The room part of the room would be very similar to how she decorated the nursery. You know, crafting materials, sewing machine, basic stuff. But the magic part of the room would be different. At first, it would just appear as a large square room, where the walls, ceilings, and floors are all made of crocheted blanket material. Kinda like a Kirby's Epic Yarn, Yoshi's Woolly World situation. But when you look on one of the walls, you'll find a small container with these magic knitting needles. When you hold one needle in each hand, think really hard about something, and then throw the needles into the room, they instantly knit the very thing you were thinking about. You need a chair? Here's a chair. You need a couch? Here's a couch. And so on. This would once again tie to the concept of mental healing mixed with crafting skills. And honestly, it would just be a nice thing for Mirabel to have. A room that can always be changed to suit her needs, especially after a long day of knitting and helping the town, would be perfect. And she could just sit back and let the magic do the work. Though the only catch is that you can't take anything that the needles made outside of the room, because if you do, it would just disappear. So yeah, you can't have the needles make you $1 million and then walk out the door. And honestly, you wouldn't want to anyway. I mean, what kind of shops would accept counter-knit money, am I right? But I'm not done yet, because on the far wall across from the entrance, there would be a door which leads to a long hallway. And down this hallway, you'll find a huge detailed museum which contains beautiful hanging quilts that document the Madrigal's entire family history. From Alma's early years with Pedro, to the birth of the miracle, to any other significant events that occurred throughout the family's lifespan. If you didn't notice from my other video, I really like the idea of each Madrigal room having a feature that promotes togetherness between family and community. A cabana club, a music stage, an outdoor kitchen/eating area, and a museum would definitely be a cool idea that fits perfectly for Mirabel. She's obviously being raised to be the family's future matriarch one day, and with her undying love for the family, I'm sure she'd be very adamant about keeping their legacy alive. Heck, the opening song in the movie is basically just her being a glorified tour guide anyway, so why not incorporate it into her room? I also really like the idea of there being a certain wing of the museum dedicated specifically to Mirabel's accomplishments. Like if she ever feels down on herself and doubts her self-worth, there'd be a specific part of the room that has wall-to-wall Mirabel achievements, including all the time she helped people with her gift. It's like how a lot of people tend to have those cork boards or walls in their room where they hang all their awards and certificates. Heck, I have one of those myself, except this would be a massive museum wing. So yeah, once again, wouldn't change the movie for the world, but imagining Mirabel as an in-house therapist with the knitting skills of an ultra instinct grandma is pretty fun. It's definitely the most fitting gift I can think of for her, but what do you guys think? If family drama wasn't a factor, what kind of gift would you give to Mirabel? And how would you design her signature room? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I hope to see you all real soon.